And another fantastic day. It is day 3 of the FAPSA 2024 conference. What an impactful day it was. All the financial practitioners of South Africa were gathered here today in the beautiful province called KwaZulu-Natal, particularly in Durban. And they were here discussing all things that pertain to financial aid within the Department of Higher Education and Training in South Africa. Now, one of the stakeholders that are joining the conference today, coming from SAPCO, which is the South African Public Colleges Organization, that is the Deputy Secretary General, Mr. J.T. Ngobo, who did give us a presentation today, which was quite informative and giving us, in terms of the status quo or the position that all of the 50 colleges that are in association with the organization, where they stand in terms of financial aid. Let's welcome him and let's get the 411 exclusively from the man himself who understands exactly what is happening within TVET colleges in our country. Mr. Ngobo, how are you today?
No, I'm fine, I'm fine.
You are well?
Yeah.
I heard your presentation today. You had a lot to say, and I believe also being a principal of the Western Cape TVET College, you also have quite vast information and knowledge. But I think to wrap it up, because already your presentation is online, but what would you say as a principal or someone who is a member of SAPCO, who understands exactly what is happening within the level of TVET colleges in our country? What would be your message of support, firstly to FAPSA and also to the colleges of this country that you represent as an organization?
No, thank you very much. Like I mentioned in the presentation, that as an organization, we support the efforts that FAPSA it's engaging on. So they will forever have our support. Look, our finances in the institution, 20% of what we get, it is through the work of the officials who are FAPSA members.
Absolutely.
So we cannot go without supporting them. So really we do support them. It does assist. You will also recall that more than 90% of our student protests emanate from funding. So if ever you don't support that, you are bound to have strikes from January to January. So we cannot say that we are not supporting them. They are a very key and integral partner within the institution. So they have a big role to play. And the fact that they have now started even recognizing, TVET colleges, because even in funding, your university students would get an X amount, and then your TVET students would get a Y amount. So we have been trying to say that if they go and buy low for bread, it's the same. It doesn't matter whether you are in the university or you are in the TVET. So we have seen those gains, and we've also seen some of our staff members being exec members of FAPSA. So really, we appreciate what they are doing. Students, there was also SAFETSA, who is an organization for the SRCs within the TVET. They are given space, they are able to voice out their voices, and they participate in FAPSA programs. So we would support them. One maybe the only issue is that not many TVET colleges attended this conference. So we need to work harder on that, of the 50 colleges now, that all of us are able to participate in this, because if ever we're not supporting it, it may just fall. And the department seems to be listening to FAPSA more than they would be listening to any other person within the student space.
And they were actually here. Mr. Kanyeso Sonti, the assistant director, was joining us for the past few days. And he quite did, show some sense of understanding of the status quo of the universities and the colleges within our country. So they truly are, collaborating and partnering with colleges and also with FAPSA, as of course is the theme for this year's conference. But before I let you go, I just want you to tell us, what should we anticipate from SAPCO as an organization for the year 2025? What is coming?
Right, That's a tough one. No, but I think as SAPCO for 2025, we are, going to forge more partnerships with role players like FAPSA, and then we would engage the department more. I think I also mentioned the issue of the the development of our financial aid officers in terms of getting them bursaries. Whenever we talk about staff development, we focus on the lecturers and this.
Yeah.
Then we forget
Yeah.
the support staff that is out there. So that is one thing that is going to come out very loud and clear. But maybe what I did not mention in the presentation, the issue of phasing out of Report 191, which has been our core, business. We are replacing that with occupational programs.
Oh, wow.
Now, the funding for occupational programs, it's still not clear how it's going to happen. For now, we are relying on funding from the NSF, but not much has been said to say that, NSFAS, for an example, will be able to fund it. And if they are funding that, how much? Because running occupational programs, it's very pricey.
Yes, it is.
So those are things that we need
is.
to still thresh up with the department in terms of how we are going to fund this. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Deputy Secretary General from SAPCO, and that is the South African Public Colleges Organization, representing about 50 TVET colleges that are within the jurisdiction of South Africa. It is hashtag the FAPSA Conference for the year 2024. We spoke to quite a number of, dignitaries and also some long-standing members of FAPSA. We also spoke to persons and individuals such as Mr. Freeman Nomvalo, the administrator of the National Student Financial Aid Scheme, also speaking to his advisor, Mr. Hlatshwayo, also having conversations with the Department of Higher Education and Training. That is, of course, courtesy of Mr. Khanyiso Sonti. I can mention a lot of people that I believe are very important and pertinent very aggressively within the structure of financial aid, and also, of course, for those who are participating within the sector of higher education and training. We are about to wrap this up, but I cannot close this off without speaking to the president himself of FAPSA, who's going to be giving us at least a preview of what we should anticipate for next year's conference for the year 2025, and also just a vote of thanks, and also thanking you at home for joining this conference and watching us, trying to give you an understanding of what is happening within the sector, or should I say, the practitioners within the financial aid who are involved in the department, not even department rather, who are involved in further education and training. So ladies and gentlemen, don't you move. In the next few seconds, as you watch this ad, the president himself of FAPSA will be joining us. Thank you, Mr. Ngcobo.
Thank you very much.
Tina siyazalana mama. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh. Ta-na na 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 na.
And our final guest for today, right here in our studios in Durban at the FAPSA Conference for the year 2024, it is the president himself. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday I did speak to Mr. Muller, who is one of the long-standing members or serving members of FAPSA. But now I believe before we get to go, the man who introduced us since day one and who was hosting us since day one, now when it's the final day, we definitely need to hear from him. He greeted us and he welcomed us, but I think now as we're about to go, he needs to give us a message of support and of course saying thank you and a word of appreciation and what we should expect next year, because I'm pretty sure we might be in PE also next year. So what do you have in store for us next year? Good afternoon, Mr. President. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me once again.
It's always a pleasure to have you.
It's been 3 long days.
Very long. but quite informative and impactful.
Yes.
But before we go and before we wrap this up, the conference has officially come to an end. You've just closed it off. What is your word of appreciation to those who are watching and also to the viewers at home, to the students as well? And what is your message to each and every single practitioner that was here today and also to those who could not come?
Thank you once again. So I think from this conference, we've taken heart that, look, as financial aid practitioners, we have a serious role in the sector. And we've taken note of the comments that have come in. We've listened to SALS, we listened to FAPSA, and I think it's important that we note that behind the student, there is a human element.
Yes.
So we need to take heart, and we actually have to consider that the dignity that they believe they would. When they're at our offices, they're there because they have a serious problem.
Absolutely.
So we got to do our best as financial aid practitioners. And I think after the conference, we learned that we have a purpose, we have a serious role in the sector, and we're going to, as FAPSA members and financial aid practitioners, I think put in more effort when it comes to dealing with students to do the best and give the best service that we can as financial aid practitioners.
2025, what should we anticipate? Hopefully you'll still be the serving president next year. Will it still be your term in 2025?
So yes, I hope to still be there.
Wonderful. Quite excited.
We lead for a 4-year term, so we're in the first year of the term.
Beautiful. So for the next 4 years, we're stuck with you,
Next 3 years. Yes.
What should we anticipate?
So with regards to the coming conference, for sure it's going to PE. I think we set the bar very high.
Very high.
The standards high, so people are expecting more, much more. Our area as FAPSA is to be a recognized one, to make sure that we are taken seriously, because we are almost like the voice of the students. And as mentioned in my previous interview, that students sit with us and we are the first line of contact between them and the funder. So we are hoping that it will be elevated at a bigger scale in the sense of funding. We hope to have more partners, collaboration, and we're expecting this to grow bigger. We want FAPSA to become a household name. And we are actually grateful that we can live stream so that we can reach out to the broader community, not just FAPSA members, but to everyone in this country that can relate themselves to student funding.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the president of FAPSA. Eastern Cape, you are the hosting province for the year 2025, but the hashtag right here in Durban, it was building a unified future through partnership and collaboration. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how we wrap it up. It is day 3 and officially the end of the Financial Aid Practitioners of South Africa Conference 2024. From me, myself, and I, my name is Anita Khula, and we will see you in Port Elizabeth.
My name is Nampumelelo Lukuleni and I am a lecturer here at Goldfields Stewart College. I have been lecturing here for over 10 years now. I started off lecturing hospitality services, but now fully focusing on food preparations, level 2, 3, and 4. And in my subject, I normally teach students how to become professionals in and creating future generations of chefs. We give them the basic knowledge regarding food preparations, hygiene standards and safety according to the industry standards. And what I like mostly about the subject is that we get to correct a few generational mistakes that were created at home from the experience that they got from their grandmothers, and we give them new experience which is related with the industry and it is according to the industry standards. What we are doing here, we teach them how to cook professional food that is mostly not in our line of food that we normally eat from generation to generation, and it becomes so exciting when you see them learn new skills, new work, new food, new terminology as well. Today we are gathered here because there is a function hosted by a BOM, and our students level 4s are busy preparing the food in the kitchen. We have been learning a lot ever since the BOM people arrived and Chef Association. We are grateful for the opportunity because our students are definitely learning quite a lot from all the chefs that we had an encounter with. We wish that we could get more opportunities such as this, as the students will definitely benefit a lot from them, unlike when we just do our normal practicals with just familiar faces around. They usually learn quite a lot in real life situations, unlike the simulation activities that we create for them. So to BOM and everybody else that comes with the money, they can bring all the functions here to Goldfields because we are definitely one of the best. Thank you.
Ovugani bafazi balenda, ovugani bafazi balenda, olilele la bafazi balenda.